Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins are standing at a crossroads that could redefine the franchise in a way fans haven't seen in years. The offseason looming ahead is shaping up to be one of monumental change, and it starts at the very top of the football operation. The hiring of a new general manager is already shaking things up behind the scenes, and with that kind of executive shakeup, the ripple effects inevitably reach every corner of the team, from the coaching staff to the roster and, perhaps most importantly, the quarterback position. Tua Tagovailoa remains the starter and face of the franchise, but with over $50 million fully guaranteed coming his way in 2026. The financial realities cannot be ignored. Tagovailoa's talent is undeniable, his connection with the coaching staff evident, but the Dolphins are smart, forward-thinking, and willing to explore creative solutions to maximize the value of every dollar and every roster spot. This is where the intrigue around a potential quarterback hedge comes into play, a strategic move that could allow Miami to remain competitive without mortgaging the future. The concept of adding a high-upside alternative to Tagovailoa is exactly the kind of calculated risk that makes NFL front offices fascinating. Instead of moving on from their franchise quarterback altogether, which would be a headline-grabbing move fraught with risk, the Dolphins might instead look for a complementary option, someone dynamic, someone who can step in when necessary, or even push Tua to elevate his game in ways he hasn't before. This isn't just about having a backup, it's about creating strategic flexibility. With Tagovailoa's 2026 salary looming, any alternative must make sense financially. A high-upside quarterback with a reasonable cap hit fits the bill. Someone who could grow into the offense and potentially take over if circumstances shift. Enter Anthony Richardson, the young quarterback who has already drawn attention across the league for his raw athleticism, arm strength, and potential to redefine what a modern NFL quarterback can be, according to ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler. Richardson is intrigued by the idea of playing for a coach who operates within the Sean McVay tree. Whether that's McVay himself, a direct disciple like Matt LaFleur, or someone adjacent to that system, like Mike McDaniel in Miami, the connections here are subtle but meaningful. McDaniel isn't a direct McVay disciple, but he's McVay adjacent, having worked within the same coaching networks and sharing philosophies that appeal to quarterbacks like Richardson. This is where Miami's potential advantage comes into focus. While there are teams with more obvious McVay tree connections, few can offer a young, explosive quarterback the chance to learn and grow in a system that emphasizes speed, creativity, and a modern, high-tempo passing attack principles Richardson has shown interest in. Miami could position itself as the ideal landing spot, a team with a head coach whose offensive philosophy is rooted in the same concepts. A quarterback room that includes a franchise starter but also offers room to compete, and a team willing to be aggressive in exploring flexible, cost-conscious roster strategies. The implications are huge because the Dolphins are thinking beyond just 2025. They are planning for 2026 and beyond, weighing not only the immediate impact on wins and losses, but also the long-term financial landscape of the roster. Tua's guaranteed money in 2026 makes any move at quarterback sensitive, but it also creates an opportunity to innovate, allowing Miami to hedge their bets, maintain competitiveness, and still position themselves financially for a robust offseason that could include reinforcements across multiple positions. There are hurdles, of course, and the Dolphins would need to navigate them carefully. First and foremost, they must remain committed to Mike McDaniel through 2026, ensuring that the coach's vision and offensive philosophy remain intact. Stability at the head coaching level is crucial when courting a young quarterback who is evaluating where he wants to play and who he wants to learn from. Beyond that, Miami would need to find the right trade compensation for Richardson or any similarly talented young quarterback. He is still a developing player, one who has yet to translate his enormous physical tools into consistent on-field production. So acquiring him comes with risk. But that risk is mitigated by smart roster management and the ability to structure contracts that minimize long-term financial exposure. Richardson's 2026 scheduled salary of $5.385 million is a fraction of what Tua's cap hit will be, making him an attractive, budget-conscious hedge. The appeal here is clear. The Dolphins can explore a one-year, low-risk swing of the bat at the quarterback position without derailing their broader plans. keeping their options open while maintaining the franchise's primary financial commitments. The strategic thinking behind a potential Richardson move also signals a larger philosophy shift in Miami. This isn't about conceding that Tagovailoa is the wrong quarterback or admitting failure. It's about smart roster diversification, risk management, and the pursuit of upside wherever it may exist. The NFL is a league defined by volatility, injuries, coaching changes, and roster turnover are constants. By hedging with a quarterback like Richardson, Miami could protect themselves against unforeseen circumstances while also injecting energy and talent into the quarterback room. This could foster healthy competition, forcing Tagovailoa to elevate his game while providing the team with a capable contingency plan. The broader point is clear. Miami is thinking strategically about how to balance performance and cost efficiency, leveraging relationships, coaching philosophy alignment, and player development opportunities in a way that few teams execute as deliberately. If the Dolphins do target Richardson or a similar quarterback this offseason, it wouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction, it would be a calculated, multi-layered move with both immediate and long-term implications. Moreover, this potential strategy ties into a growing trend in the NFL where teams are seeking dynamic, scheme-fitting quarterbacks. Rather than just the biggest names available, Miami's offense under McDaniel is uniquely positioned to attract a player like Richardson because it emphasizes mobility, quick decision-making, and creative play design. These are qualities that align perfectly with Richardson's strengths and developmental needs. The Dolphins could essentially offer him a learning environment that mirrors some of the systems run by McVay and his disciples, while also giving him a platform to showcase his athleticism and playmaking ability. This alignment between a player's skill set and a coach's philosophy is increasingly critical in the modern NFL, and Miami has the opportunity to leverage it in a way that other teams may not. It's a subtle advantage, but in a league as competitive as the NFL, subtle advantages often translate into significant outcomes on the field. Ultimately, the Dolphins' quarterback plans for the offseason are complex, layered, and full of potential twists. They could double down entirely on Tua, bringing in complementary pieces around him, or they could take the innovative route, introducing a young, high-upside talent like Anthony Richardson as a hedge. Either way, the team is signaling a willingness to think outside traditional frameworks, balancing talent, cost, and strategic fit with an eye toward both the present and the future. The appeal of a player like Richardson is not just in his physical ability or upside. It's in the alignment with Miami's system, the potential for growth under McDaniel, and the financial flexibility that comes with adding a low-cost, high-ceiling option. It's a move that could redefine how the Dolphins approach roster construction, quarterback development, and competitive balance in the coming years. With change on the horizon and the 2026 financial landscape already in sight, the Dolphins are positioning themselves not just to survive but to thrive, blending strategic acumen with bold, forward-thinking decisions that could pay dividends for seasons to come. Still with us? Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The atmosphere around the Dolphins has been nothing short of electric this week, but not in the way fans would hope. Rumors are swirling, whispers are turning into roars, and insiders are hinting at a situation that could shake the team to its very core. At the heart of the storm, none other than the Dolphins quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, and his reportedly tense relationship with the coaching staff. Sources suggest that tensions reached a boiling point at the very end of a recent practice, where, according to multiple accounts, the head coach usually composed and methodical erupted in what has been described as a shocking display of frustration. The incident, insiders claim, involved a public demand for the immediate removal of an unnamed athlete from the roster. While the details remain murky, the intensity of the altercation was enough to leave teammates stunned and staff scrambling to manage the fallout. The murmurs suggest this wasn't a casual disagreement over strategy or performance. This was personal, intense, and highly charged, signaling a fracture in the team's internal dynamics that may not be easily repaired. Speculation is running rampant about what could have provoked such a dramatic outburst. Some sources hint at repeated mistakes during drills, a failure to follow the playbook, or perhaps clashes over leadership and accountability on the field. Others are pointing fingers at potential personality conflicts that have been simmering under the surface for weeks, finally erupting into a public confrontation. For a team like the Dolphins, known for its discipline and structured approach, such a public display is almost unheard of. making this moment even more shocking to those who follow the organization closely. Fans and analysts alike are questioning whether this incident signals a deeper problem within the team culture or if it's a one-off eruption fueled by the pressures of the season. Either way, the buzz in locker rooms, sports bars, and online forums is palpable, as everyone tries to piece together exactly what went wrong and what it could mean for the future of both the player and the team. Even more intriguing are the reactions or lack thereof from the players involved. Sources report that some teammates appeared visibly uncomfortable, exchanging tense glances while trying to carry on with the rest of the practice. The unnamed athlete at the center of the controversy is said to have remained silent, though whispers suggest they were left shaken by the public confrontation. Meanwhile, the rest of the team had to navigate the aftermath, balancing the need to maintain focus on the game plan with the emotional fallout of witnessing such a volatile moment. Coaches are reportedly scrambling behind closed doors, holding meetings to assess damage control and perhaps even discussing potential roster adjustments. The notion that a coach would openly demand the immediate release of a player, particularly someone who has been a key contributor, is sending shockwaves not just through Miami, but throughout the league. Social media is, unsurprisingly, exploding with theories, leaks, and wild speculation. Clips from practice have begun circulating, blurry and incomplete, but enough to fuel the narrative that something serious went down. Fans are debating whether this was an overreaction, a justified response to ongoing issues, or an indication of deeper instability within the organization. Pundits are weighing in with their takes, dissecting every gesture, every word, every moment leading up to the explosive confrontation. Some argue that this is the sign of a coach willing to take bold action to protect the integrity of the team, while others see it as a dangerous precedent that could fracture relationships and undermine trust. The lack of official statements only adds fuel to the fire, leaving room for rumors to grow and for every imagined scenario to gain traction online. Adding another layer to the story is the broader context surrounding Tua Tagovailoa himself. The quarterback has had a mixed journey in the NFL, with flashes of brilliance that excite fans, but also periods of struggle that invite scrutiny. Whether this incident will reflect negatively on Tua personally, or whether he is merely a witness to larger dysfunctions within the Dolphins system, remains a matter of hot debate. Analysts are questioning whether this is symptomatic of wider strategic disagreements or if it's simply an isolated clash of personalities. The mere fact that the rumor involves a coach publicly demanding the immediate exit of a teammate suggests tensions that go beyond ordinary frustrations with play execution. There's talk of locker room meetings being more intense than usual, of conversations being cut short, and of team leaders being caught in the crossfire, trying to mediate between loyalty to their coach and solidarity with a fellow player. What's particularly captivating about this rumor is the way it challenges the perception of control and professionalism within the Dolphins organization. Historically, the team has maintained a reputation for discipline and strategic foresight, but moments like these expose the raw, human elements of sports emotion, ego, and the high-stakes pressure cooker environment that is the NFL. For fans, this is the kind of drama that is almost cinematic in scope. A high-profile player, a high-pressure situation, and a coach pushed to the brink. It's the type of story that makes headlines, drives social media engagement, and keeps everyone guessing about what might happen next. The fact that so many details are still unconfirmed only makes it more tantalizing, leaving room for speculation about trades, suspensions, or other roster shakeups that could result from the fallout. Inside sources hint that the tension leading to this explosive moment did not appear overnight. Allegedly, it was the culmination of several incidents, moments where frustration had been building quietly behind closed doors. There are murmurs of prior disagreements over training methods, disagreements about effort levels during practice, and even clashes over how plays are being interpreted and executed on the field. Some insiders claim that teammates had noticed the stress building for weeks, and while most hoped it would resolve quietly, the incident at the end of practice made it impossible to ignore. Now, the Dolphins are facing a delicate situation: how to maintain cohesion while also addressing the apparent conflict that has captured national attention. This balance could determine the team's success or failure in the coming weeks, and the scrutiny is intense. Meanwhile, the story has fans, commentators, and sports journalists alike on high alert. Every press conference, every interview, every cryptic social media post is being dissected for clues. As speculation grows into a full-blown narrative, Will the player in question be released? Will the coach face any repercussions? Or will this pass as a dramatic but ultimately contained moment in a high-pressure season? At this stage, no one knows for sure, and that uncertainty is precisely what keeps the rumor mill churning. Analysts are noting that if the situation escalates further, it could have ripple effects on team morale, fan perception, and even to Tagovailoa's own trajectory within the league. For a quarterback of his profile, any hint of internal conflict is immediately magnified, feeding narratives about leadership, accountability, and the pressures of being a prominent figure in one of the NFL's most scrutinized teams. The tension, drama, and uncertainty all combine to create an almost irresistible story for the public, whether you're a die-hard Dolphins fan, a casual observer, or someone who thrives on sports drama. The incident has captured attention like few other events could, and as insiders continue to leak small details, as commentators offer their interpretations, and as the team navigates the complex emotions swirling in its locker room, one thing is clear: this is more than just a rumor, it's a potential turning point. A story that could define not only the team's season, but also the careers of those involved. For now, all eyes remain on Miami, with the sports world collectively holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next, and wondering whether the Dolphins can emerge from this storm stronger, or whether the fallout will have lasting consequences that reach far beyond the practice field. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!